Okay, and welcome to our interview. I'm here with John Culver, CEO of Fanvest Wagering Exchange. John, thanks for joining today.
Glad to be here, Nick. Thanks for having me on.
So before we get started, would love to have the listeners hear a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself, about your career, and what you're working on now.
Absolutely. So I am the co-founder and CEO of Fanvest Wagering Exchange, company that was born out of a desire to create a kind of new way to invest in sports that sat right in between the sports betting market and the fantasy market. That was really inspired by my background in finance and investing, particular security analysis, and Ben Graham, Warren Buffett, value investing, and really intersected neatly with my lifelong interest and passion in sports and the NFL in particular. And so I've really enjoyed building this company and bringing this vision to market, and having the pleasure of working with some incredibly talented and thoughtful and hardworking people. And it's phase one and day one for us, but we have a long roadmap ahead and a lot of plans, and are very excited with the way things are going, and I'm very optimistic about our future.
So John, you said investing in sports. Would love to hear a little bit more about what that means and how you can actually invest on your platform.
Absolutely. So it's best to really think about our long-term goal, which is to really become the Robin Hood of sports investment, which is to say, the same way that people sign on to a online brokerage firm to trade traditional financial assets like stocks, bonds, or even alternatives like cryptocurrencies or mutual funds. We want to create a platform in the future where players can come on, investors can come on, sports bettors, fantasy players, and have that same kind of brokerage experience, but be able to invest in shares of their favorite teams or teams they think are going to win in our own kind of self-contained marketplace. And so to get to that long-term goal, we need to kind of start and work within the current legal environment and regulatory environment. Fortunately, DraftKings and FanDuel, help pave the way with this sort of game of skill, game of luck dichotomy, which started to carve out a new avenue that was outside of just sports betting or free fantasy sports websites, which is obviously are wildly popular, with over 60 million North Americans playing them as of last year. And then with the repeal of PASPA, which the Supreme Court repealed last year in May 2018, the floodgates have kind of opened, at least allowing for legalization of sports gambling across the states. I think in the next couple of years, there should be around 23 states that will have it fully legalized. And I know there's plenty of other states that are working on legislation. But at the moment, still, there really is a paucity of innovation in the space. And there is a kind of a wild west out there in terms of companies competing to acquire sports bettors, and they're spending a whole lot of money. And we think that sports betting is obviously only going to grow and evolve here in the States, but we'd like to kind of introduce an alternative platform that allows people to have more of an investment experience in time, less of the kind of short-term, zero-sum binary nature that you see in sports betting or daily fantasy contest. But in the long term, we like to have something of more of an independent marketplace, where liquid one too, where people can buy and sell teams. For example, in the NFL, where teams will perform, the shares will go up and down with their underlying performance. People can buy and sell them and really trade them like stocks in a way you can't do in sports betting, or you can't do in daily fantasy.
So today, walk me through Fanvest. How does it work? What do I do? How do I sign up?
Yeah, absolutely. So today, this is our beta, which debuted our Pro Football Portfolio Challenge. It's completely free to play. Just went live in October 10th of this year. And right now we have a very simple weekly contest. So it's free to sign up. You go to fanvestwageringexchange.com. It's a mobile-friendly web app You sign up, very simple process, just give your email. And hey, if you get referred by somebody too, you'll have a little unique referral code you can put in. But every week you'll be credited 1,000 fan bucks, which is our monopoly money, our fictitious currency. And you'll see a leaderboard, you'll see a games page and a teams page. And you'll see all of the NFL teams matched up against one another who are going to be playing that week. And the teams trade in fan bucks, and they trade like projected scores. Very simply, the name of the game is to maximize the amount of total return you can get by investing in winners. And you want to invest in teams just as you would, buy and sell stocks. You want to buy shares of teams that you think are going to win by the biggest margin of victory each week. You can also trade opportunistically. So our markets open every week at Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And every week, everybody's fan bucks balance resets. All the prices reset depending on the team's matchup. And then throughout the course of the week, teams' shares will trade up and down based on supply and demand and market forces. And then ultimately, you can trade opportunistically, like a trader would in the market, or somehow people trade cryptocurrencies. You can buy teams low that you anticipate will increase in value, sell them in the week, or you can just go ahead and employ all kinds of different strategies where maybe you might like a team, say the Patriots are playing the Jets, and you think the Patriots are going to score more than 30 points and they're going to win by 15 at least. You can look in the marketplace and see that, in the Fanvest Wagering Exchange market, the Patriots are trading at 27 fan bucks a share and the Jets are trading at maybe 20. You can go ahead and you can buy, say, 10 shares of the Patriots. And then if you anticipate that they're going to win by more than 15 points, you're going to have a return of 10 times that 15-point margin of victory for 150 fan bucks return. So that process repeats every week. The top 50 players get cash prizes. And then you can refer people who, if they end up signing up using a unique referral code, you're going to get credited an additional 100 fan bucks for each individual that signs up. And you get to use that additional fan bucks every single week that you play. So when the week resets, instead of starting with just 1,000 fan bucks, you'll start with 1,100 and so on as you go up the ladder of referrals.
Love that. Love games that are free to play, of course. Now, ultimately, people will ask, John, you've got a game that's free to play and you're giving away money. How are you going to make money?
Absolutely. So our goal right now with the beta is very simply on the business side is to turn over and maximize the amount of weekly active users. And we ran a very successful early access campaign starting when we launched our landing page this summer on July 11th. And we were able to acquire a lot of users at a very, very competitive and low cost. And so our goal is to really, find and sort of connect with the users who like the platform, like the beginning of where we are with our, where the product is in its inchoate stages, and really connect with them and find a way to get as much information from them, as much feedback as possible to incorporate and grow as we look at our postseason portfolio challenge, which is going to come out this year. Well, technically it'll be the beginning of 2020 when the 2019-2020 NFL season enters the postseason. And that will be a fee-based contest where we'll have a fee and we'll have higher cash prizes. And that's where we actually plan to introduce our season-long product, as we call it. But it'll be an alternative product along with the weekly game for this NFL postseason. And that's where will be another, real important data point for us on the business, to see the appetite of some of our weekly active users to participate in a fee-based contest. And we do really believe that the referral system, particularly from the folks who are really engaged in the platform, is going to bring us the additional users who want to be on the platform, who have already interacted with us, quite a bit on social media or an email, who really buy into the long-term vision of the product and want to be a part of it and really be loyal to the platform, because we really want to build the most user friendly product that's out there in this space, because we think that's a great opportunity for us to really fill as well.
Well, John, this isn't your first rodeo in the sports betting landscape. In fact, you released your first product last March for March Madness. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what we should expect beyond football?
Yeah, absolutely. So the March Madness was just a fantastic, really impromptu product. We've always had our eyes set on football being our first product, but the opportunity really presented itself when I ended up getting connected with, at the time, just was a mutual friend and connection in Fern Murrius, who is now our co-founder and head of product. And he actually has a somewhat analytical background and some handicapping, and in particular March Madness. And we really hit it off, and he kind of inspired me to really think about the feasibility of releasing a kind of limited beta. And so he and I got introduced in, I'd say, early February. We, exchanged notes and discussed kind of the products and the opportunity. And I set this kind of arbitrary deadline for both of us because time was tight and I was working on a few other things and he was busy. And I said, all right, we've got 72 hours to come up with a product for March Madness, because that's the maximum amount of time we can have to.
72 hours. That's a quick turnaround.
It's a quick turnaround.
Deadline.
It's a very quick turnaround because I knew that we would need enough time to contract with a developer and get all the designs built. And if it was going to be worth this significant amount of time, that we wanted to make sure that we could kind of like clear our schedules and put our heads together. And in the end, we both kind of created a product, mixed them together, and ended up coming out with this March Madness product, which we ended up marketing and releasing. And in my humble opinion, I think it went quite well. We got over 400 people in a day and a half and signed up. It had cash prizes, and it really went well. We were able to kind of allow people to buy shares of teams, again, like stocks, but all the teams were priced based on their seeds historical win percentage. And people got to trade with fan bucks. And ultimately, we did an exit survey after it, and we had over $6,000 in cash prizes, but we had about 50 participants anonymously in our exit survey, and we got some excellent feedback. We asked a lot of user kind of data and personal preference, some questions about investing, and a lot of that data that we were able to collect and really positive feedback we got from folks helped validate early on our idea that the NFL and our football product would be a success, but also really help refine the beginning stages of our digital marketing campaign, and in particular the avatars that we ended up targeting this summer with I think great success and market validation. So that was really important.
John, tell me a little bit about your company, the background. You mentioned your co-founder, Fern. Would love to hear about capital raise. What's next on that horizon for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So our goal, like I said, long term, is to revolutionize sports as an investment. Our goal is through an intuitive, democratic, exchange-oriented system that allows users to leverage the power of markets and trading teams like stocks. Towards that goal, we understand we need to crawl before we can run. And so we've partnered with Goodwin as our counsel, who's been fantastic. And I've been able to have a lot of conversations with both a senior gaming expert there, as well as a senior securities expert there, to kind of start to map out our longer term product evolution. And we see our business evolving in three distinct phases. This is kind of our beta and sort of contest phase, where we start to roll out the concept of a liquid market of trading, teams like stocks and kind of in a contest sort of fee structure that's similar to daily fantasy. Phase two, which we hope to roll into next fall with our weekly and season-long product offering, is going to start the evolution of our business and product mix into a kind of more broker-dealer-like format. However, there you'll be able to exchange dollars for fan bucks, and you'll have two products with marketplaces and different pricing systems that allow you to trade teams like stocks. We're also going to be platforming different sports leagues, as well as some select tournaments like the Masters for golf, the US Open, and really try to kind of explore and experiment with different types of users and different fans. to date, since we incorporated in April of 2018, we've raised 310,000 in convertible note offering as part of our seed round, and we're targeting our Q1 Series A in 2020 to kind of coincide with our postseason portfolio challenge. And so we look to kind of raise the capital that we are looking to target in Q1 and be able to execute accordingly to a lot of the product offering that we see going into next year. However, we also plan for a rainy day, so we have a lot of products that we've built out and we have on the shelf, but we're going to commit in a very strategic and tactful way according to the kind of capital that we have at our disposal. Part of the team too is we've got a invaluable tech advisor, Kash Guna, who has been I call him my sort of tech interlocutor, who helps distill the ideas and products that I have on spreadsheets and PDFs and takes them into the blueprint process where we find out what the right tech stack is going to be. How do we execute this? Understanding what the economics should be for certain products and making tweaks accordingly. And so he's been just super valuable there. And then we were able to also bring on a very, very experienced CPA who has experience both in the public and private sector with startups, the private sector, also in nonprofits. At Brookings Institution Endowment, he was a comptroller there. He helped manage the University of Maryland endowment, and he's also been in Montgomery County, heavily active in the NCAAP fund. And so we've been very fortunate to have this nice group of folks where we've also been able to recently work with a very talented full stack developer who's based out of Tennessee, who's been working remotely and has been really the sole engine behind our beta rollout. And we're going to have a lot more features coming this fall as the product evolves.
Really intimate look behind the scenes of a new but flourishing startup. I'm here with John Culver, CEO of Fanvest Wagering Exchange. John, you've told us about your plans to raise capital, your team, what's next. Really excited to hear all about the product, the Robin Hood of sports investment, as you like to call it. Is there anything else that we need to know, or should we just get to playing?
Yeah, I think, for some folks, and we'll just kind of, pull back the curtain a little bit, like there's a lot of folks out there who have expressed a real interest, particularly in the kind of financial services or investment banking community, for a mature sort of liquid marketplace that really is a proper, fully functional exchange where you can, trade sports schemes like stocks. And we always want to make clear that that is our long-term goal. But the environment is such that things are rapidly changing with regulations and the legal landscape, that for some of the folks we've had the pleasure of corresponding with, being patient, understanding all of the features that we get to roll out and growing with us is one of the greatest pleasures I can have as a CEO, is when I get to interact with some of our users, listening to their feedback. Believe me, we are keen on incorporating it, and we already have so far at the beta. So one of the reasons we did want to also offer it for free at this stage was for that very purpose, that we want to keep the barrier of entry or barrier to try this product as low as possible, and to be able to get all kinds of feedback and really solicit it from our users, because we really believe that by listening to the user, we can really incorporate a lot of that input as we scale and continue to introduce more of our products we have on our library and in our, on the shelf. So growing with us is something that we really invite all people who want to be part of this, product vision to create this new third way, in between sports betting and fantasy sports, that really is this complementary product. Our success is not contingent on getting the sports bettor to stop going to the window or getting the daily fantasy person to stop setting lineups. We truly, truly see ourselves as a complementary product in a massive market that is rapidly growing, where our success is in executing the most user-friendly product, the most intuitive product that allows users from both the fantasy sports universe as well as the sports betting universe to leverage and monetize their sports knowledge on a platform where they can take the knowledge that they ascertain from doing research on, let's say, sports betting or fantasy sports, and truly find a new home for it where they can actually monetize it and put it to work because in the future, as we grow and we offer more and more, evolved products, we do see ourselves as a true hedging market for a lot of sports bettors, because all the sports books, the lines and the odds all start to look very, very similar once games, start. And arbitraging in that market, is a full-time job if you can do it. And those opportunities will diminish with time. So by being our own independent marketplace in the future, we do truly see ourselves as a potential, hedging market for those sports bettors. So we are long-term oriented, but we want to get all the details right in the beginning. So we invite people, to join us in our early and inchoate phases and grow with us, because there's a lot more in store as we evolve and take the mantle of becoming the Robin Hood of sports as an investment.
John, looking forward to continuing playing on the platform. We're going to finish up with our lightning round here, a set of a few questions. Just want your quick answer on these.
Okay.
So we're gonna rock and roll. Okay. So you have first pick in the NFL draft. Every player currently in the NFL is available. Who's your number one pick?
It's a good question. Probably Aaron Donald today.
Okay. Super Bowl champion this year.
New Orleans Saints.
Favorite dog breed?
Collie.
Best site for sports analytics?
I'm a data guy, so it depends if you're if you like content and kind of articles, then I would say Football Outsiders, Aaron Schatz with the DVOA, his proprietary metric, some really great articles there as well. If you're a kind of a stat head like I am, and I like to really capture data and get data, I'm a huge fan of Pro Football Reference, and Team Rankings are both excellent data sites. Pro Football Reference probably has a deeper bench in terms of the kind of data you can get, but Team Rankings has, I'd say, like a more accessible site, and also has a lot of great sort of odds history data that I like to use and research, and some excellent content. And then finally, I am a huge fan of 538's ELO rating system, and I find some of that really, really excellent. And then if you're a kind of more of a leisure-minded sports fan, and you like some of the kind of content articles that are less sort of data heavy, I'm a big fan of the Ringer, Bill Simmons's website, and they've got some fun articles and podcasts from their universe.
Favorite team in NFL history?
2007 Patriots, easily.
What do you do to relax?
I handicap games, or I watch film. If we're calling relaxing the opposite of what I do on a daily basis all the time outside of work, if we were to define it that way, I'd say watching like really great movies, trying to watch great movies.
What's your top workout?
Top workout, probably, running, treadmill, and something I'll do every day, 7 days a week, will be either the elliptical or the treadmill. And then I'd be remiss if I say I wasn't going to my girlfriend's Bar 3 classes.
Great.
I don't know. I mean, I love the way I feel after it, but it's a grueling process.
Love a man who can talk about Bar 3.
That's right.
Final question for you. And John, this is a big one. If you weren't doing FanvestWageringExchange.com today, what would you be working on?
Be an unhappy banker.
That's a great answer. John Culver of Fanvest Wagering Exchange. Visit the website at FanvestWageringExchange.com. It's very easy to use on your mobile phone, your desktop computer. John also has a number of content blogs that he produces. John, thank you very much for being on, and looking forward to staying in touch in the future.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to hopefully coming back and giving you guys more updates. And it's FanvestWageringExchange.com. Give it a try for free. Invite friends. And you might just win some real cash prizes. And stay tuned. We're going to be rolling out more features all regular season long. And then we'll have our postseason challenge with a much larger cash prize and series of cash prizes available to you. So,
John,
thank
fantastic.
you.
Fantastic. And see you at bar 3.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great, man. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.